PDF files. The answer is out there.
The Microsoft Fabric Certification Podcast with Kevin and Frank.
Episode 10. The Unauthorized Push.
I have a question. Your organization uses Microsoft Fabric deployment pipelines to manage analytics solutions across development, test, and production stages. You need to restrict editing of pipeline settings to authorized users only. What should you do? Select only one answer. A. Assign pipeline admin roles. B. Configure workspace permissions. C. Enable stage-level security. D. Implement role-based access control.
Hey Kevin, how are you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks Frank. Yourself?
I'm fantastic, thank you very much. Okay, so we got another case on our table and let's discuss this case. And again, I don't know what's happening, but it's a case on deployment, on your special topic. So let's discuss deployment. So in this case, as the lady said already, is we have our deployment pipelines, and what we want to do is we want to restrict the editing of pipeline settings to authorized users only. So why should we do this? Because isn't it a good thing if everyone can bring his or her knowledge to just tweak the deployment pipelines? I think it will be cool, right?
It's a good and bad thing. Obviously, and it depends on the security policies in your workplace as well. This can be part of your governance story if you're working for certain companies of a certain size. So yeah, people should only have permissions to do certain things in relation to their role. Letting everybody be able to edit the deployment pipelines of Fabric could cause a lot of potential issues as well. So you want to limit it to just key people, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And the other thing is, there are very good reasons why the deployment pipelines are the way they are, right? And the thing is, because what the deployment pipeline more or less does is it just models a process in your deployment, a process in your development. It just models this process into some kind of IT asset, right? And the thing is, so you should not just alter a deployment pipeline without altering the process, the organizational process around this, right? And so, because sometimes people might think about that this process is a little bit cumbersome, that this process is maybe a little bit too complicated, stuff like this, and then they tend to, okay, let's ease this up, like, for example, directly deploy to production, stuff like this, and you don't want to have this, right? And this is always a good idea to restrict the access of people to editing these pipelines, right? So, okay, now we understood why we should do this, so let's now try to understand what we should do. And I think we will go through all of the answers again and think about this. So, what we could do is we could assign the pipeline to admin rules. What do you think about this?
I think this is a very good thing to do, to be honest with you, because it means it prevents people who aren't supposed to be editing the pipelines from doing so.
Exactly. And if someone has an admin role, then this is someone who has to take care of all of this. Yeah, well, maybe. I think I'm with you there, Kevin. I think this is a good idea to assign the pipeline admin roles. Let's go for B. And so what we could do as well is we can configure workspace permissions. So it's about permissions. So this should be right?
Not in this particular context.
Okay.
So if you change the workspace permissions, yeah, you'll be able to change what people can do in those workspaces. Mm-hmm. But it won't change the fact that they can edit your pipeline still. So it's two different permission contexts here.
Okay. So you're saying if I have only read writes in the workspace, I can still, if this is not configured properly, I can still change the pipelines?
Yeah. If you're in a workspace, you can still, if you got the permissions set, you'd be able to admin the pipeline. You can still do so.
Okay. Well, probably not a good situation to have, right? Okay, so let's see the next one, which is about enabling stage level security. So stage level security, what exactly is this, Kevin? Can you tell us, please?
Yeah, it is literally how it sounds. It's just the permissions for what you can do for a particular stage. Again, though, it's to do with the scope of the permission context. It won't prevent you from editing the pipeline itself.
Okay, understood. So this is more about the test, development, and production stage, what I can do there, right?
Yeah, but you can't change permissions, etc.
Okay, perfect. So, but what we could do is we can implement role-based access control. This would be nice.
Yeah, well, you say that. Role-based access control, it is in a slightly different context in this case, to be honest with you.
Okay.
So that's for, it's the user, manages the user permissions within Fabric. But again, it's not really in the same context as the permissions required to edit a pipeline.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So I think we solved this mystery already. So the right answer in this is assign pipeline admin roles to just define who can alter the pipelines, right? And this is something I think which is always important if you are preparing for exam and if you're preparing for a job in data analytics as well. It's always important to think about security. I know sometimes security is a very daunting topic and you don't want to do it and it makes things complicated and stuff like this. But on the other hand, there is a very good reason why we need security so that not everyone can access everything. And the thing is, if it's always a bad thing and this makes you look bad and this makes your company look bad, if you could have prevented data leakage or stuff like this just by applying some simple security basics, right? It's always like this.
I have a piece of advice relating to this and the whole topic of figuring out the permissions required to do certain things in pipeline. There is a permissions table in one of the deployment pipeline articles produced by Microsoft, and Frank, hopefully, is going to very kindly put a link to the permissions table into the notes section afterwards for you.
Yes, in our show notes. I will put this in there, definitely. Because that security is always an important topic, right? Okay. Anything else?
That's it at this moment in time.
Okay. So, well, we're done with this episode again. So thank you very much for listening. Hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we did. And see you in the next episode. And, well, maybe beware out there could be a not properly configured deployment pipeline, right? Okay. So, bye-bye.
Thanks all. Bye.